Hey guys, hello everyone, good evening people. Hey Govind, hello Red, hello Sunil, hello Prince. So guys, good evening all, and I hope I'm audible and visible clearly. Just give me thumbs up or put some emojis in the chat. Just tell me that am I audible clearly. Please give some confirmation, quick confirmation guys. Hello Mohit, hello Kapil, hi, hello. Hope you all are good. So yes, thank you so much guys. Thank you. So, guys, I will give a short introduction of myself. My name is Anam. I am from Let's Upgrade, and I'm here to explain you all about this. Means inform you all about this 5 days boot camp. It's a 5 days boot camp, and we are starting with today. So, I will tell you about the attendance procedure and how to get your certificate, how to mark your attendance, and the documentation that we have made for you people so that you can use it in your future also. Voice is not clear guys, my voice isn't clear. About just tell me again. Hello. Excited. Great. Video is not clear. It's clear. Okay, thank you guys. So just let me share my screen quickly and I will explain you all the things. Just a minute. So I hope my screen is also visible to you all. Yes, background. Ignore the background, guys. Please listen me first of all. Okay, so yeah, so guys, here in the description box, here you can see registration, attendance, certificate. Here we have one link for everything. Click on this link. You will be redirected to this enrollment page. Scroll down the page. Here beside the day one introduction, day one title, you can see mark attendance toggle. Click here, and here you can see on a 0 to 10 scale, there is a feedback like rating. How much you like this session, you can rate it according to yourself. For now I will give 10 on 10. And this is a improvement box, sorry, feedback box. Like if you want anything, if you want you people like if you want us to improve, if you are not liking anything, you can put it here. For now I'll give nothing and submit the assignment. So just submitting the assignment, reload your page. Here you can see progress bar. It will increase day by day as you mark your attendance, and you need at least 50% to generate the certificate on the last day of this program. And guys, please make a note that certificate will be available on the 5th day of this boot camp when you will complete this program. And same way you have to mark all your days attendance. And we have Discord community, we have WhatsApp communities. You can join us there. You will get further updates and reminders for the upcoming boot camps. You can also suggest us some from you, what you people want from us, like what upcoming boot camps you want. And yeah, we have this SAP program, that is Student Ambassador program. This is basically you. This is a 1 month program. Yeah, you can apply it. Our upcoming batch is starting from 1st July, and you get exciting vouchers. You get exciting swags, gifts, SAP ID, chance to meet industry leaders. You people can attend workshops on weekends, and also there are many more things. You can work with Let's Upgrade team. So yeah, please guys, if you are interested in this, you can enroll now, apply now for the upcoming batch which is starting from 1st June. And we have made this doc, that is all in one documentation. You can save this link somewhere for your future reference. Yeah, but yes, you cannot download it. Yeah, yes, if only if you can save it somewhere. We have everything stored here. Here is the notes link that you can use it in your future. It will help you a lot. So yeah guys, that was not all for today. So now I will hand over the session to our trainer, that is Ritik sir. So I hope you people are excited for to learn from him, and I will call him. Hi sir. Hi. Hello Ritik sir. Good evening
Yeah,
sir.
good evening, Anam. Thanks for the introduction.
Thank you sir. So how are you sir? Hope you are so excited to begin this 5 days journey.
Yeah, I mean, we all are excited for this journey for the C++ bootcamp. I hope it brings a lot of uh, knowledge to all the students watching here, and to all the students watching here. Once you finish this bootcamp, I can guarantee you that you'll be having uh, the crux of C++ programming, what it is not. So I'm really excited. I hope you guys are too, right? So yeah.
Yeah. So there are many doubts that students are asking for. So I will hand over to you and I will take a leave. So bye guys. Bye everyone. Bye sir.
Yeah, so uh, let me just share my screen. Okay, so can someone confirm me if my screen is visible and I'm audible properly or not? Okay, I'm audible, right? And visible as well, yeah. Okay, awesome. Sure. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So yeah, a very warm welcome to all of you who are watching this live session, right? So as we all know, this is a C++ boot camp. Right? So it will be a 5 day extensive boot camp wherein we'll be covering concepts starting from the very basics, and on the last day we'll be building a very cool looking project solely on C++, right? uh, we'll be covering all the concepts related to object oriented programming, related to functions, what are variables, right? What are data types, each and everything, right? We'll try to uh, cover each and everything that we can in C++, and be rest assured that after 5 days you'll be a master in C++. Okay, all right. So first thing first, right? I hope we all have the notes. So if you want to refer to the notes, you can. Is my audio echoing? Or let me just get my headphones if it is. Otherwise, I'll just continue. Just let me know if my audio is echoing. Otherwise, no, sir. Okay. All right. If it is, just let me know in the chat box. I'll just get my headphones and just do that. Okay. So, right, let's get started. Right. So, starting with C++. Let me just open my accelerator. Okay. Oh, now starting with C++. Before me starting with C++, can I have some answers in the chat box, right? Do you know what is C++? Do you know what is programming, right? Have you ever heard of programming languages? Any of the programming languages, be it C++, C, Python, Java, any of the languages, right? Any idea? Anyone? No? Yes? Okay, I can see a mix of responses. It's a coding language. Okay, it's a coding language. Yeah. C++ is object-oriented programming. Okay, nice. Okay, no, not like HTML. Someone said it's like HTML. No, it's not like HTML. Absolutely not. Okay, so before coming to programming, or before coming to C++, I'll come to what is a programming language, right? So any language, for that matter, which takes an input, processes it, and gives an output. It's a programming language, right? So any language which takes an input, I'll just write it in the short form, which takes an input, right? After that, it processes it and it gives the output. any programming language can do, right? So what is a programming language? Any language which takes an input, processes it, and gives you the desired output. For example, I'm giving the let's suppose I take in two numbers as an input, 4 and 3, and obviously, so it's an addition operator right here. We'll come to operators in depth in the coming time, but I'm just trying to add two numbers, right? So this is the input, right? And this is trying to process it. Obviously, it will try to process. It will try to compute. Like, hey, what is a plus b, or what is 4 plus 3? And based on that, it will give you an answer, right? It will compute the result and it will give you an answer. So any language for that matter which takes an input, processes it, and gives you the output is a programming language, right? So talking about types of programming language, there are many programming languages, right, which are currently there. So most commonly ones being C++, Java. We also use C, right? And we also use JavaScript. So these all are famously used languages. I'm not saying that there are no other languages. There are, but these are commonly used, right? Okay. Now let's specifically talk about C++ programming language, right? Acha. See, why do we need a programming language, by the way? Anyone? Any answer? Why do we? Yeah, Python. Yeah. So why do we need a programming language? Can anyone let me know in the chat box? Yeah. Anyone? Why do we need a programming language? Can't I just talk to my machine in English language, or in Hindi language, right? Can I not? Why do we need a why do we need it? Anyone? Hmm? To talk to your computer. Okay, Jayesh says a very, very valid point. To talk to the computer, to interact with the computer, as said by Nihar. So exactly, right? So how do we communicate, right? We let's suppose if I talk to you in Arabic, I'm not sure if many of the students watching here will be able to get it, right? So if I type English to my machine, it will not understand, because it does not know that language, you can say, in layman terms, right? So English will not be known by this language. So as a result, programming languages were introduced to interact, to talk to the machines, to talk to the computers, right? So that's why we need a programming language, right? Yeah, we'll get into depth, right? Obviously, it represents itself in form of zeros and ones, of what we call as binary numbers, right? Exactly. Okay. So C++ programming language, right? C++ is a programming language, first of all. And let me just open the, okay, so I'll tell you how to install VS Code also. Just give me a second. So first thing first, let me just tell you brief about C++, right? So C++ is an object-oriented programming language. Have you heard of? Has anyone here in the audience heard of this concept called as OOPS? If you have not heard, don't worry about it. If we have heard about it, then that's absolutely cherry on the cake. Okay. Yes. So exactly the reason. So I'll tell you the history. Right before C++, C was used. You can say that C was the, or you can say that this language C was the predecessor of C++, or C is the successor of C++. There were some features which were, kind of added on while launching C++, and one of the key important features was the introduction to OOPS. Nothing but object-oriented programming. Obviously, we'll cover object-oriented programming in depth, I think on day 3 or day 4. I'm not sure, but it is there. But for now, you just have to understand that it is an object-oriented programming language. That means that it can make objects, it can construct objects, it can construct classes, and follow all the properties of OOPS, polymorphism, abstraction, and whatnot. Right. So that is why we prefer C++ over C. Okay. let's talk about the playgrounds or the IDE. Acha. So to run any programming language, or to see the result, or to run the code, we need something called as an IDE. Can anyone let me know what is an IDE? What does it stand for? And what is the purpose of an IDE? Anyone? Yeah, exactly, Kashi. So it divides task into objects, and so that it is easier to make use of that object and not write the code all over again. IDE. Okay, Soham says IDE is an integrated development environment. Yeah, exactly. In layman terms, it is just an environment for you to code. It will provide you an environment wherein you can install the compilers and get your hands dirty on coding. Okay. So there are n number of IDEs that are available, right? N number of IDEs that are available, but the most commonly used, the most widely used is what? Which is the most widely used IDE? Who will tell me? Exactly said by Anubhuti. It's VS Code. It is VS Code, and as a result, we'll also be installing VS Code to write our code. So let's get started, right? So just go to your browsers, and just, if you don't have it already, I'll do it for you in front of you. If you have it already, then you're good to go, right? So I think I already have it. I'll just tell you the steps so that it gets easier for you to install VS Code. It's very simple, by the way. So just do one thing: just write VS Code download. Right? You'll be prompted with this link, right? Visual Studio Code, and based on your machines, whether you have Windows operating system or Macintosh or Linux or Ubuntu, right? Based on that, just select a viable option and click on download, right? So it's as simple as that. You click on download, it will start downloading. Now, this is the first step. Okay, downloading VS Code, that is an IDE, is the first step. Now you have to download a compiler. Again, there are multiple compilers, but again, the most widely used compiler here is MinGW. So what do? After downloading VS Code, right? Only after downloading VS Code, just write MinGW download. Right? So this is the official document, the official link, SourceForge. It's by the name of SourceForge. Don't get carried away by some external links, right? Just click on the SourceForge link, and you'll be prompted to this UI. And as soon as you are on this page, you'll see an option to download it. Okay. Now what I'll do is, let me download this for you. I think VS Code is a simple click. It's simple, a clickable task. You can just download it as you download any other things. But this MinGW is a bit. It can be a bit tricky for beginners. So what I'll do, I'll again download it. I'll click on download. Once I do it, it says your download will begin shortly. So just wait for it. Okay. I'll just hide this thing. I think it's taking some time. So let it download. Yeah, and it has successfully downloaded MinGW. I'll see the location of where it is. Yeah, here it is, right? So it's downloaded. So what I'll do is, I'll go to the setup and I'll install. So you'll be popped up with this this dialog box. So click on install, click on continue, and so this is especially for me because I'm reinstalling it for you guys, right? If you already have it, just don't do this step. I'm doing it for beginners, right? So just ignore this step and just click on continue, right? I'll say reinstall, and it is downloading some packages, right? So we'll wait for it to complete. It hardly take a minute or so, right? In the meanwhile, those who have not downloaded, just download VS Code, and only after downloading VS Code, just download this, because they both have to work together, right? So what happens is, environment, inside an environment you have a compiler. So IDE is the environment and MinGW is the compiler. Okay, don't get confused between IDE and a compiler. They are both different things. IDE will just provide an or I'll say an environment. So in VS Code, you can run any language. You can run Java, you can run Python, you can run JavaScript, you can run React, you can even run HTML, you can even run CSS, and .NET, Ruby on Rails, anything. So it's just an environment. But a compiler is language specific. So if I download MinGW, I will be only able to run C++ code. Getting it? Okay. So as you can see, it has downloaded. So I'll just click on install and it is downloading, right? And you'll see this page. That means that it has successfully downloaded, right? So these are the toolkits. These are, I think, 6 or 7 files it downloads. It's okay if you download each and every one of them. It's as simple as that, right? So you have this toolkit, you have MS32 base, and multiple files. Just click on it, and if you see this page, that means you are good to go. Okay? Is it clear till here, everyone? If we have downloaded VS Code, and now we are downloading MinGW compiler. And now is the most crucial step, right? Many of the students get stuck here, right? This is the most crucial step. Now what do you do is, Sanjana, we are downloading VS Code. First we downloaded VS Code and then we're downloading MinGW. So we are in the process of downloading MinGW right now. Okay. Now, what you do is you go to your file explorer, right? Now you go to, this is the default location. You go to C drive, right? And you'll find MinGW somewhere here. Yeah, see, this is MinGW, right? You click on MinGW and you open the bin folder, right? Now this is the bin folder. Now what do? You copy the path. Now how will you copy the path? You'll see this search box or this input box right here. Just click on it once and copy it. So what did we do? We went to C drive, we went to MinGW. Inside MinGW, we went to a folder called as bin. Inside bin, I am copying this path. Now I'll go to environment variable. So just press start and write environment or edit the environment variables, this option. Yeah, well, actually, you see, as I told you, right, you can use any environment, right? You can use dev, C++, you can use any of the environment, or even you can also use an online compiler, as simple as that. But why are we doing this? Because it's a general practice, right? So if you go in corporate organizations, you'll see developers coding in this VS Code only, majority of the times. So that's why we are getting in touch of of things of how they're actually done in the industry. Okay, so edit the environment variables. 1 hour. Okay. Now click on environment variables and click on path. As soon as you click on path, just click on new and add the file name here. This is the not the file name, sorry, the path name, right? This is the path name. So once you do that, click OK, right? Click OK and you are good to go. You are good to go. Okay, so yeah, that's it. You are good to go. Okay, so this step is very crucial. Again, I'll repeat myself. You go into the C drive, that's default storage. Majority of the students will be having it there only. You go to MinGW, you go to lib, shorthand for libraries, and then you copy the path, you go to your environment variables and paste the path here. As simple as that. And you click OK. And OK. And you are done. You have successfully installed the IDE plus the compiler, and now you're all ready to do your hands dirty in C++ programming. Right? Are we clear till here? Any doubts till this part? Anyone? What we have done? We have seen what is C++, what is the programming language, how to download IDE, how to download MinGW, how to set up the path, and that's it. Any doubts still here? there should not be any. Okay. Now, just now open VS Code, obviously, right? Just click on VS Code, Visual Studio Code, and you'll be landed onto this interface. Right, so this is, I'll do one thing. I'll just quickly cross this out. Okay. So first of all, what we can do is we can make a new folder, right? So I'll make a new folder. I'll maybe, come here. I'll make a new folder by the name of, I'll say C++ day 1, or I'll say C++1. Okay. Now I'll open it. Now you have to open that folder, right? So how do you open the folder? You will see this kind of an. So this is the Visual Studio Code interface. By the way, if anyone has not heard of it, if anyone's seeing it for the first time, don't get overwhelmed. You'll get a habit of it, right? Once you get your hands dirty with coding, right? So this is the interface. Don't get confused. Just follow the steps which I'm doing. You'll be good to go. You see an option called as File. Just click on File and click on Open Folder. And go to desktop. So whatever location is the folder is, just go to desktop, and it was CPP1, that is CPP day 1. I'll select the folder. Right now, this is my folder. Inside a folder, I'll make a file. Right, so let's suppose I'm making a file called as day 1. Achha, by the way, if you want to make a file of C++, it has an extension of .cpp. Right, so any file, any C++ file, how will you recognize that whether it's a C++ file or not? By its extension. A C++ file will always have the extension .cpp. Right, and if I click enter, I have successfully made a C++ file. Right, I've successfully made a C++ file. Getting it? Now, this is where you write your code actually. This is the place where you'll be spending most of your time with, right? This is the place where you'll be coding. You'll be writing your future. Okay. So just, sir, can you please increase the font? Okay, I will do that. Is it clear now? Okay. Now, okay, a little bit more. If I do a little bit more, it will not be okay. I'll do that, but just let me know if it is good. I'll just try to, yeah, I'll just do this. Okay. Now, so what I'm going to do now is the general thing that we do when we try to learn any language. Can anyone let me know what is that? What is the first thing that we do when we learn any language? Anyone? What thing do we write, or what is the first instance that, okay, oh, so I have now learned a language. What is that? Okay, header files. Okay, exactly said by me. I was looking for this answer. You write a basic program of a hello world, right? Just to say that, hey, hello world, I have started learning C++ now. Okay. Okay. So what I'm going to write here is, what I'm going to write now might not make sense to many of you, since you'll be doing it for the first time. I'll explain it step by step, but just writing a program to, just display hello world on the screen. Okay. Now what I'll do here is, so I did something magical here. Don't worry about that. I'll explain it to you step by step. I'll write cout hello world. I'll write cout hello world, and I'll run it. Now, as soon as I run it, just give me a second. It's loading something. Close. Okay, I'll go to my terminal. So this is my terminal. Don't show it again. Right. This is my terminal. I think it's showing some errors. Let me just figure it out what it is. I'll close the debug console. For terminated. Okay, I think there's some path variable issue. Let me just go to my environment variable. I'll go to environment variables again, and I'll go to path. Okay, I think I've done it 2 times here, so I might have to remove one of this. So I'll remove it because see it's 2 time present, right? It's 2 time bin and bin, so might be getting confused. So now I'll click OK, OK, and OK, and now I'll try to restart my IDE. Let's see if it actually solves the error or not. Okay, so we have the terminal right here, and we will cross these things and we will run the code. And this time, see, the code is running and it is printing hello world. Okay, so what was the error? I think yeah, I tried to reinstall the MinGW. It was already there in a path variables, and just to demonstrate you guys, I again added it. So that was the error that was coming up. So yeah, we have resolved the error and it is hello world showing up. So that means that we have written a first successful program in C++ that is hello world. Now I'll explain you what each and every line of this program means. Okay, now these 2 things that you see, hashtag include iOS string using namespace std. These are nothing but your header files. Okay, these are nothing but your header files. Okay, now you see something called as int main. What is this? Anyone? What is int main? What is the use of int main here? Anyone? It's a function, first of all, right? It's a function. It is the starting point of your program. So anything that you write in C++ language, the starting point of that will be this main function, signifying that okay, this is the main function and this will be the starting point of your program, right? This int means that okay, it is an integer type. So if I write void here, that means that it is nothing. Void is empty, right? What void means? Nothing, empty. That means if I write void, that means this program will return nothing. If I write int, that means this program will return an integer variable, and that is the only reason why we write return 0. Although it's optional, if you comment this part out, if you remove this part out, your compiler will by default assume it to be 0, but it's a good practice to write return 0. Why? Because your function is int. Okay, and this cout in C++, cout is used to print statements. It can be statements, it can be anything. So I'll write print statements only. Okay, it is used to print statements or print I'll say variables, since you're not aware of the term variable, so that's why I did not write it. But anyways, variables, right? Exactly, Piyush. If you compare it with C language, it is printf. Exactly, right? And in order to, okay, so let me come to C part. Okay, so this was cout, right? Cout. How do we remember it? Cout. It means that it is outputting, right? You see this keyword called as out. It is throwing something. That means it will throw something onto the screen. I wrote cout hello world, and it is throwing hello world in my terminal. Getting it? Now similarly, I have something called as cin. Now cin is used to take inputs from the user. I'll quickly show you a demo, right? I'll say int a, right? So again, don't get overwhelmed by of why int a is there, what is int a, I'll just explain you, but I'm just trying to explain what is seen here. Okay, now so let's suppose that this is just a variable, it stores some value, that's it. Now I need users to enter some value in it. So how will I tell my compiler, right? I'll use cin for that. Cn a. Now as soon as I do cin a, it expects me to give something as the input. And if I want to print that input, I'll just write cout a, as simple as that. Now, let me just clear the console. Let me just write 10. And let me comment this line out. If I write 10 here, see, it is giving me the result as 10. Why 10? Because I've asked for an input, I've entered 10, and now I'm trying to print 10. So this is for input. And in short, this is for output. Clear? And how? Do not get confused between cin and cout. So cin is you're taking an input, cout is you're printing the output to the user. That's it. As simple as that. Okay, so this was about cin and cout, right? How do we take inputs? How what do we do is clear to you, right? Now, let's come to a very important point, that are operators. Acha. You know, we all remember what did I tell you when we first started? C++ is the programming language, right? And what is the programming language? It takes an input, processes it, and gives you the output. Now let's try to actually see whether it is actually processing it or not. What I'll do here is I'll comment this part out. Achha, by the way, what are comments? Comments are nothing but just to showcase something onto the screen which will be ignored by the compiler. If I comment this out, it will be present on my screen, but will be ignored by the compiler. So for compiler, this is nothing. But for us, it means something. It can be a documentation, a note, a short, maybe a short summary, a short explanation. It can be anything. Yeah. It is for the users to understand. It is for the developers, for the clients, not for the clients, it's the developers, sorry, to understand. All the clients you can see as well, right? If you are sending the source code to someone, yeah. And how do you comment? So there are two types of comments. One is single line and one is multi-line. Okay, so I'll just uncomment it. The single line comment is you write two pipes, right? These backward slashes, what you call. Just if you're using Windows, just left to your shift key. And there's something called as a multi-line comment. How do you multi-line? So this is single line, right? This is a single line comment. If you want to have a multi-line comment, what will you do? You'll use this approach. This is a multi-line comment. If I close it here, till here will be my comment, and the compiler will read this line. So from line number 7 to line number 11 is commented, else that part is not commented. Okay, now as said, let's come to operators. Very important part, operators. Okay, so what I'll do here is I'll quickly take two numbers or two integers to be specific, right? What is an integer? It's a number, as simple as that. It's a number. What I'll do, I'll take two numbers, int a equals to 10, int b equals to 20, right? Now I want to process it. What I'll say is I'll say int c equals to a plus b. What is this line doing? So this is taking the input, and this is processing. And after processing, I will print the output. I'll say cout c, and this is output, right? That is what a characteristic of a programming language is. It takes the input, processes it and gives you the desired output. Now let's see what result are we getting here. So I'll clear the console out. So the shortcut, the command to clear the console is CLS. If I write CLS, your terminal will be clean. Okay. I click on run. I think it is taking some files. Let me clear the console. Why is it taking? It's already commented anyways. Let me just save it again. Let me just try to run it. Right. See, now it is giving the answer as 30. That means, okay, what does this infer? Okay, that we are trying to process something and it is working absolutely fine. We're trying, we are getting the sum of A plus B, right? We are getting the sum of 10 and 20. Huh? Again, if you want, you can also add, you can also do subtraction. You can also do division. You can also do multiplication. And you can also do modulo. Now this is interesting. Anyone here in the chat box, what does a modulo operator do? Who will tell me? What is a modulo operator? Anyone? Let's see how many of you are exactly pinpoint to what is a modulo operator. Okay, answer by Kashish, Lucky, Tanu Patel. Okay, great. Here, Shidhan, Urfaf says ANBR operands. Yeah, ANBR operands. Yeah, I'll come to that. Remember exactly. So as majority of you are pointing out, it gives you the remainder. Right. So it says that okay, you divide 10 by 20. Whatever remainder you'll get, I'll store it inside a C variable. Let's just try it out. Let me just try to print it, and we're getting 10. Why? Because if you divide 10 by 20, you'll get a remainder as 10. As simple as that, right? That's what it does for us. Right? So, and these are operators. You can go ahead and try for minus, you can try for multiplication, you can try for addition, you can try for division. It's your task, your takeaway home assignment to try out all the operators and see what output is it's trying to give us, and is it matching to the exact mathematical output that we're expecting, or is it something wrong, right? That being said, so did you ever wonder what is this int a? I mean, I've told you, I've written multiple times, right? Int a, int b, int c, int d. What is that? What is int a? Anyone? What is int a? What is int? What is, if I write, let's suppose a char, what is this char? Anyone? No? Data type, exactly. So C++ is not clever. You guys must be hating me for that, right? Why is C++ not clever? It is not clever by a way that it needs someone to tell C++ that which type of data you are storing. If they're storing a number, you have to use int, that is int. If we are storing a character, you have to give char. I can write char a, and this you have to give in single inverted commas. If you want to have a boolean value, that means true or false, you have to tell it. You have to specifically tell it that okay, hey, I'm storing a boolean value, and let's suppose I'm giving it false. That means 0. So these are all data types. See, we cannot call it dumb. I'll tell you. See, there are two parts to it. At this point of time, you might be thinking it's dumb, and I totally agree with you. At this point of time, you might feel it, but with this strictness comes great security. It is secure. Let's suppose I'm working in an organization. I make the whole code base. Let's suppose it is tens of millions of trillions of lines of code, right? And instead of an integer, I am inputting, let's suppose, a character. do you really think that this would make sense? My whole code, my whole purpose of a software would be vanished. So this is done by purpose. I mean, see, languages like Python and JavaScript don't have it. It's another reason for that. But it is also necessary for security or for error-free programming, right? If you write integer, it will only accept an integer. It cannot accept a character, a string, a Boolean value. As simple as that. And you see this equal to, this is called as an assignment operator. That means you are assigning the value of a to this character a, or to this variable a. What is a variable? Anyway, what is a variable? A variable is just a container that holds a value to be used later, right? So what do I mean by that? You can just assume it to be a container which stores a value, right? A equals to 10, B equals 20, and so on. Just a container which stores a value. Okay, so variables, operators, data types, I am assuming it's clear. Acha, let me take an example of a data type. Let's suppose I'm writing char. So what I'll do is I'll just comment out this part and I'll see out A. I'll see out, chalo, let me also do this. I also see out B. Let me just clear out the console. Yeah, and now I'll run the code. See, I'm getting A and I am getting 0. Achha. So do you see something weird in this output? Anyone? Who will tell me what is weird in this output? Do I exactly want it like this? Anyone? What is weird in this output? Is it correct? I mean, it's correct obviously, but do we exactly want it this way? Exactly, right? It is in the same line. Now what can I do to make it appear in the next line? See, to make your pointer move to the next line, you have something called as end L. So what I'll do here is, after A, I'll write end L. Or I mean, I'll see out end L. So this is, don't get confused by this. So this means that I'm printing two variables with a single C out. You can also do it like this. You can also write B here. You can also write, you can write multiple output statements, but I'm not making it confusing for you. I'm just writing two. And now if I try to print it, I'll get it in separate lines. Right? That simply means that if you want to move from one pointer in the line to the next pointer in the line, you have to use end. Right? Acha. By the way, any reasons why is the output of B coming as 0? I wrote false here, right? Isn't it weird that why it's coming 0 here? Anyone? Why it's coming 0? Anyone? According to me, it should be false. What do you think? No. Exactly. So in programming languages, if I write true, it means 1. If I write false, it means 0. As simple as that. So false means 0 and true means 1. Getting it? Okay. So now I really hope data types, variables, operators, C in, C out are all clear to you. Right? Okay. Now let's move to control structures. Acha, remember when we were discussing the structure of the code, I told you that int main is the starting point of a program, right? Who all remember? Who all here in the chat box? Just write yes or no. Remember that. I told you that int main is the starting point of your program. Yes, right? Okay, good. Now, what is the general behavior of the programming language? So let's suppose I try. So how do we read a book? We start, a normal human being, right? A normal human being starts to read a book from the topmost left part. It goes right. As soon as you end the line, you move to the next line. You go from left to right, you end the line, you move to the next line. You read it like this. So this is a structured way of reading things. Similarly, what happens is your programming language, what it does is it starts to read the code from line 0 to whatever number of lines are there, right? So it sees the header function, it sees the header files. Okay, awesome. Now it starts from line number 5, it goes to line number 9, it goes to line number 10, 11, and so on. It follows a structure, right? This is exactly called as the control flow. You are controlling the flow. You're not controlling, it is the default flow, but there are ways you can control the flow as well, and that is by using if else statements. By using if else statements. Okay, I'll give you a quick example. Let's suppose I have two numbers, and if a number is even, I want to print the number is even. If the number is odd, I want to print the number is odd. So there are conditions here, right? I don't want to print both even and both odd. I only want to print even if it is even, or if it is odd. That means that, okay, I need to control the flow, because by default both will print line by line, but I don't want to do that. That's where if else statement comes in. So I'll do one thing. I'll just comment it out again. I'll take in two numbers, by the way. I'll take int a equals 5 and b equals to 10. Now I want to write a condition. How do I do that? I'll say if. By the way, anyone from the chat box, any of the student can tell me, how do I check whether the number is even or not? Aditya Raj saying, okay, he says that number modulo. Oh, that's awesome, man. Anubhati says if and then even. Okay, I'm receiving good number of answers. Awesome. Vignesh, Nihar, Pravalika, divide by 2. Okay. Will it always be true? Pravalika? Okay, I can see majority of you using the right syntax and plus the right logic. That means you are getting the crux of it, right? Anyways, so if I say I want to check whether the number is even or not, I'll say if a modulo. What does modulo? It gives us the remainder. Acha. So let's suppose I have a number called as 5. If I divide it by 2, what will be the remainder? 2 2s are 4, and I will get remainder as 1. Okay, let me take another number. Let me take 9. I'll divide it. 2 4s are 8. I'll get remainder as 1. Okay, now let me take an even number. Let me take 5. Let me take 10. Chalo. 10. And we'll divide it by 2. I'll say 2 5s are 10. So this gives a remainder as 0. Right? Now what does this mean? At any number, if I divide it by it, if I take the modulo, I divide it by 2, and if I check the remainder, if I get 0, then for sure I can say that, hey, that's an even number. And if the remainder does not comes to be 0, that means that the number is an odd number, and I can write whatever code I want. Right? So now let's try to code it, right? So I'll say if a modulo 2, if it is equal to 0, what will I do? I'll see out a is even. Right? This is if statement. Inside you have two round brackets. You write the condition. What is the condition? And these two curly brackets, you enclose it inside a box. That means, right? These two. This is the syntax, right? You just have to see the syntax. So you have two round brackets and a curly bracket. If this is the case, okay. Else, I'll say else cout a is odd. So let me take only one variable for you. Right? It's not end1, it's endl. Endl means that you move to the next line. It will not print the answer in a single line. It will just move to the next line, just like this, a and 0. Okay, now I'll clear the screen. Now a is 5, right? It is an odd number. Let's try to see what is the answer. I run it. Okay, I think this semicolon missing here. So at one point, remember that please enclose semicolons at each and every ending statement. It is just like using full stop after each and every single statement in English, right? Okay. I'll print this, and I get a is odd. Right? As simple as that. Now if I take, let's suppose a to be 10, and if I again run it, I'll get a is even. Right? As simple as that. So we are now deciding the control flow. So if we have not used if and else, both these statements would have been printed, even and odd. But since we are using control statements, using if else, we're trying to control it that, okay, if this is the case, you have to print this, else you have to print that. I hope it's clear, right? I hope it's clear, right? So let's wrap it up. In the next class we'll be starting off with the loops part of it and the function and memory management part of it, right? Yeah. So I hope you really enjoyed. You really got the introduction of what is C++ programming language. We saw some awesome concepts as well, right? Operators, C in, C out, header files, variables, and control statements, and all these things, right? Okay, so that being said, let's wrap this session up. We'll meet tomorrow, and we'll try to continue. We'll continue from loops there, right? So, with that being said, let's wrap it up, and we'll see each other tomorrow. All right? Chalo. Bye everyone. Bye.